for fish. But this was Tasmania, and nothing you hooked wouldn't try to hook you back. "Watch the spines, mate," JB said as I pulled up the slimy brown, mottled, puffy prehistoric Pisces off the bottom. "They're poisonous." Like the adjective wouldn't be surplus. "Watch the teeth too," he said. "Flatheads bite." I thought of romantic Polynesian words for other fish in the southern sea. Mahi mahi, kawa kawa, ahi, wahoo. But there's only one fish in this Tasmanian water, flathead. "Easy to catch, mate. They'll bite everything." Back at the shack, Winnie in her late 80s and not to be outdone had 3 kinds of Christmas pud on the table, each one more poisonous than the last. There were rum balls, with rum, trifle, with sherry, and Wynn's own homemade Christmas cake, with enough brandy to bring down the Tasman Bridge. "I like my sweets, Wink," she said, "and my cup of tea." The most I could remember about the number of bottles of wine it had taken to put enough corks around the rim of my hat to keep the flies away was that it was an odd, very odd. As were the stories I was telling from the wine the corks had come from. There were a lot of flies. Smutty and the other mates, and JB and I, were raging on at the back of the shack. I knew we were getting along famously because everyone was a bastard. The conversation turned to barbecue lore, fire draining. I believe I had made a disparaging comment about how Antipodean barbecues, reliant on a single large metal plate to cook the meat, was nothing more than a glorified frying pan and lacked the finesse that aerated wood smoke and grill marks could achieve. The criticism was well received with more considered mental activity and less derision than I deserved, and I was invited to give it a barrel. In Tasmania there was still sympathy for the devil. The corks wobbled about my head as I pulled the iron plate off the barbie and dropped it in the dust. JD brought over a pile of blackwood and tea tree. I filled the bottom of the grill to the top and lit a match. Tasmania had certainly seen fires before I arrived. In 1967, the Black Tuesday bushfires left 62 people dead, 900 injured, and over 7,000 homeless. I wasn't trying for the new state record, but my enthusiasm to bring sophistication to my out-scrub relatives was far too untempered by the ecology I was operating in. JB was the first to offer feedback. "Fair dinkum," he said, as the flames licked the top of the carport. Okay, so before I take questions, I just want to tell you that there are lots of books written about the Southern Sea, about the Pacific. Some of them are brilliant, some of them not so brilliant. This one's good. Okay, any questions, guys? Oh, good, okay. So listen, just to tell you, if I can get this Texas girl out of her chair and she finishes the formatting of Stoutmen, which is the book that's coming out, I hope to have out in a week or so on Kobo and on Amazon. It's probably a better book than this one. It's good.
Yeah?
Really?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Did you eat the flatheads and what are they?
Yeah, they were tasty. But you know, I had a little wine.
And even the bullhead did.
Yeah. Okay, well that's great, guys. So if anybody wants one, or 2 or 3, I've also got some Wagon Days and Westwood Lake Chronicles here. I have to do the pricing here. They're 25 a pop. 45 for 2, 60 for 3, and then we can talk about any other things.
I'm going to get myself so specific. I think
Must be
I would like
Thursday, but I would like to